Welcome to the GYM22 Podcast. This is the first episode. So I'm using this podcast as to go into the minds of the entrepreneur business owners in the local area and international, so I can gain knowledge and share their knowledge for all you guys. So episode 1, can't get any better than my good friend Stuart Coupland. So welcome, mate.
Thank you very much.
I've said
good to be here.
So we might as well start with, so I've decided to come away from knowing you to literally going from the outside point of view. So from the top is literally, who is Stuart Coupland?
Who is Stuart Coupland?
The clean version.
There is no dirty version, I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, fair enough. Well, hi, my name is Stuart Coupland. I own a company called Coupland Leather. I'm a bespoke leathersmith. So I make everything from, your standard, your bags, your wallets, your belts, up to really high-end bespoke, unique leather items. It can be anything from I recreated somebody's granddad's bag that he wore for work for his entire career. The bag was over 8 years old. I stripped it down and recreated the entire thing over to a set of armour. So, it can be anything from the leather world.
Awesome. So what everyone will want to know is, how did you get started?
So, I'm complete self-taught. My career, if we went right the way back, started in IT. Worked in IT for several companies for around about 8 years, give or take. Everything from just working in a computer shop to working for a support contract, probably selling IT support contracts, and I went over to be the UK sales manager for a marketing company. I've worked at the fire service and all sorts of, I've jumped around, but the leather world kind of came to me when I bought a watch strap from a gentleman holiday. So I went on holiday, went to Turkey, bought a watch strap. Didn't fit my watch, so the guy kind of took mine, he cut it all apart and he made it fit my watch and changed the buckle, and he made it fit me. He gave me more of a bespoke, unique experience buying this strap. So I sat by the pool next to my missus and I said, I think I could make one of them. I could do this, looking at my wrist. And she sort of rolled her eyes and went, if you think you can, go for it, give it a go. So I went home and I spent a good month going through how-to videos on YouTube, looking into how I make a watch strap, how I make a wallet, how I make this, that, and the other, what tools to use, what to buy. And I put together a kit list, bought everything I could think of.
Doesn't surprise me.
No. I actually compiled about 8 different lists and then pushed them all together and went, that's what I need. I know it. If I get that, I'll be the best ever. And I made the worst wallet you'll ever see in your life. I mean, this thing, it was a bifold, so it opened up, and when you closed it, the actual wallet was smaller than a bank card. So it was never going to work. So I tried again, different wallet. This time it would fit a bank card, but to hold it, it kind of flopped like a tissue. It was proper bad. You could shake, you could bend it. Awful, absolutely awful. So I gave up. At the time, I was a retained fireman for Clean Fire Brigade. So I was working Monday to Friday 9 to 5, front in IT. 5 o'clock, I went home, got showered, got changed, got sorted. At 6 o'clock, I was a fireman till 6 in the morning. Came off call, went to bed, 9 o'clock back at work. I did that for about 3 years. And when I left the fire service, I had a lot of free time. A lot of free time. You go from working 2 jobs all the time to 1, and you finish at 5 and you actually finish at 5. I was sat there going, what do I do tonight?
Yeah, you're bored.
Bored, literally bored. And I was sat there going, I don't know what to do. What do I do? So I got all these tools back out and I did more research into leather itself. Why did my products act like a dog toy? Yeah. And I learned about something called vegetable tanned leather. Veg tan is a thicker, heavier duty, more durable leather. It's typically found on saddles, equestrian gear, Chesterfield sofas. The sort of leather, when it hits your 20, 30, 40-year-old, it gets patinaed, it shines, it gets better with age. Yeah. So I was like, I'll try that stuff. So I bought some in just natural state and made a wallet. It functioned, it worked. I dyed it with a bit of leather dye, and there was black smudges everywhere where the glue was. You know, and I tried burnishing the edges and they were all wonky and it didn't work. And, you know, but I made a wallet which functioned, and I was proud as punch. I showed it. I went to my mum's, I was like, Mum, look what I made. I showed everybody this wallet. And then I made another one, and I dyed it before I glued it, and I got a bit better. I edged it before I assembled it, and I did other bits, and I, you know, sanded the edges down. I cut them, and over the space of probably about a year, I went from really, really bad wallet to kind of really nice wallet. It wasn't perfect, but it was sellable, and people started buying it.
I was going to say, did you sell them?
And this is it. So I'd say, if we looked at it from a time scale point of view, June 2018 holiday, bought watch strap. I'd say sort of July, August, bought in the kit, made really dog shit wallet. And then sort of like that November was when I left the fire service, made some Christmas gifts, made some birthday presents in the January. It was in the February someone said to me, could you make an Apple watch strap for me? And I think they paid me 35 quid for an Apple watch strap, which cost me about 45 quid to buy the materials in for. But I sold it. I physically sold. Someone gave me the money that they had earned for something I had made, and it was revolutionary. It was this sort of like, whoa, this is amazing, this.
Got a big buzz.
And that little entrepreneur bit kind of went, ooh, would somebody else buy something? So, you know, I started making a little Instagram account, Facebook bits. Because I'd worked in sales for best part of a decade, people who knew me from that world were going, hey Stu, what's this leather thing you're doing? And I was going, oh, well, I just messed around on what was a desk. It was an IKEA door, turned on its side with legs screwed to it. And, you know, I'll make you a wallet, I'll make you a belt, I'll make you a book cover, what it was. All the way through sort of 2019, just hobbyist. And then 2020. 21st of January 2020, I got called in. I was at this point working for a marketing company as a sales manager. Got called in and got told that the company's going to liquidation. They have paid us, which, fair enough, yeah, great, thank you very much. And that was it, goodbye, good luck, and best of luck to you, sort of thing. There's the door. So I got back in the car. Rockcliffe Hall were a reseller of mine at the time. So I drove to Rockcliffe. I was in Darton, so I drove there and I knocked the door and said, hey, do you want any more stock? You know, can we do anything to sell anything here, because I'm out of a job. And I drove home, and I remember thinking on the way home, I was like, it's the 21st of January. We've got 10 days left of this month, literally 10 days left. And I got home and Meg came back, my missus, and I said, oh, never guess what happened today? And she went, what? I said, I lost my job. Company's gone bust. Like, what do I do? And I said, well, we've got a workshop there, albeit not a very good one, but I've got the kit to make something. Let's see what I can do. And to be fair, being a salesman in a small area, you know, you get job offers pretty quick. You know, like, I had a few phone calls. Stu, I've heard that the company's closing down. Do you want a job? Do you want to come work for us? And I'd probably say in those 10 days, I had about 3 or 4 offers. And I was like, I don't want to say yes, because I feel like this Coupland leather thing, we made about $6,000 or something, like all mate rates and bits and bobs. So I was like, you know what, there was 1 or 2 months where I made like $1,000 in a month. I was like, if you can do that as a hobbyist on mate rates, if you stop the mate rates a bit, surely that would top up if you can find the sales. And I said to Mrs., I said to Meg, I said, give me the 10 days to prove a concept. Let's prove that Coupland leather could, in theory, support an income. No matrix, no nothing. And anyone who's worked in sales, they'll all know the first 2 weeks, you try your hardest, and then you settle down after that and not actually, you know, you kind of give it half your hardest. But for the first 2 weeks, you give it your all, and you get your phone out, and you go through your contacts, and you ring all your previous people, and you go, this is what I'm doing now. Do you want to buy an IT contract? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? So instead, I did the exact same thing. I texted everybody I knew, I rang everybody I knew, I emailed everybody I knew, and I went, I'm making wallets, do you want one? I'm making belts, do you want one? Do you do corporate gifts? Can I make you something? We can put your logo in it, should we do that? And we done like 1,600 quid in 10 days. Never seen that money in my life. You know, that's like 160 quid a day. I was like, wow, this is incredible, this. And I was buzzing. And to be fair, there was a couple of business owners who I know really well who said, we'll buy some bits and bobs off you. It was definitely pity sales, but it was sales. You know what I mean? I call it pity sales. They call it supporting a new young entrepreneur. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they wouldn't have gone and bought that if I hadn't rang them up and asked them for it. But that little bit of confidence, if there was a guy called John, if he didn't buy those notebooks, he bought 10 notebooks off me. If he didn't buy those notebooks, I wouldn't be doing it today. 100%. Changed everything.
Does he know that?
Yes. And I've told him multiple times, and he gets a special price if he ever wants anything.
Does he tell you that now?
Yeah. He gets well looked after. Truly leathered he is. So, you know, February, you know, we did another, I think it was 1,800 quid or something, you know, in a month this time. Obviously, it was a lot bigger period, but we did it. And at this point, I was hand stitching everything as well, so it was a lot harder. In fact, by the end of February, my fingers were going numb. I remember I was making an Apple Watch strap for someone, and they have these little screw bits at the back that you put in for the bracket. And I picked up the screw, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And it was in between my fingers, and I was squeezing it, and my fingers had gone numb. I literally had no feel left in my fingertips at all. So I was like, shit, you know, I've got to get a machine in to do this, otherwise I think, you know, I'm going to have major problems with my hands. That was only after a month. So, you know, I've got a sewing machine. I got all this money that I'd made, and I bought a sewing machine, which was, I think it was like £3,500. It was an expensive piece of kit. Pretty much bankrupt, wiped everything out. But I bought the sewing machine, and then something which I'd never had to deal with before. As a sales manager, it sounds really bad to say this, right? But I was working in services, not stock. I ran out of stock. I'd sold all these products. I made them all, but I had nothing to make any. So I had to buy more stock, but I just bought a sewing machine. And I was like, shit. I haven't thought about stock rotation. Yeah. You know, I'm going to have to buy stuff in, have on a shelf or a wall to make the next one. I was like, I never thought of any of that. And then, you know, beginning of March 2020, very big year for everybody in the UK when the UK got put into a national lockdown. Yep. Self-employed for 6 weeks. And I was like, oh, what's going to happen? And I think it was quite miraculous, to be fair. Because March was a shitter. It was bad. 200 quid in the first week and nothing else. Then, beginning of April, support local businesses, support made in Britain, support small companies started happening. And then all of a sudden, I was putting things on LinkedIn, and I was making these little time-lapse videos, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about marketing, LinkedIn and stuff in a bit. But I started putting things out there, and people were going, oh, do you actually make this? Do you do this? We'll have one of them. And everyone in the UK kind of got this mentality of support local businesses. At the same time, everyone who would usually spend money on fuel and everything else, all of a sudden wasn't spending that because locked in their houses. They were getting furlough and all this other part, so they ended up with more money than what they used to have. Yeah. So they had disposable income. So support UK, support made in Britain, buy online, and people had money. All of a sudden, we started getting sales through. And you're only talking 10, 15, 20 sales a month. But it was enough to pay my bills.
Just quickly, did you double down on marketing at that point? I know we're going to go into that.
Yes and no. You can say double down. I'd never done any marketing at this point. So anything extra was doubling down, you know what I mean? So you're going from zero to something. Yeah. LinkedIn was huge for me, still is. Yeah. Still is my biggest revenue stream. Apart from the website, but marketing outlet. Yeah. LinkedIn, 100%. Yeah. Go on. What's your question?
No, that was it.
I seen a hand thing there.
No, it was the double thinking. Well, I could get more sales if
Yeah.
I'm in front of more people.
Well, what happened, the LinkedIn side, people were saying to me, do you actually make these items? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
But I was always being asked it. I think there was a big thing, and there probably still is a big thing. I fell for it, not too bothered, but I fell for it last year sometimes. I bought this really nice leather jacket from a company. And when I picked it up, I seen a British Union Jack on the inside. I was like, oh, it's a British jacket as well, big leather jacket, stunning leather jacket. I was like, I'm going to buy that for me. It was like 300-400 quid, and I was like, yeah, I'll have it. And I took it home, and I was in the mirror, zipping it up, trying it all on, thinking I'm mint. And then I had a look at this Union Jack, and it said designed in the UK. I was like, oh, took it off inside, made in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, okay. No issue with that, because it says designed in the UK, which it is designed in the UK by a UK company, sent off and had it made elsewhere. And this is what people were saying to me, are you making these, or are you having someone else make them, or are you buying parts and assembling them here? Or because that was another thing, someone will buy, a table leg from one country, tabletop from another country, put it together in the UK and saying it's made in the UK.
Yeah.
Not what we do, but this is I was getting tired of. So I was like, how do I
Get the message across.
Yeah. How do I stop the question? Because that's one of the big things with any company is you'll have questions that people ask on a daily basis. How do you close that door? How do you stop that happening? So I done time-lapse videos. Every product, and I was only making like 10 to 20 products a month, so every product sounds really extreme. I make like 80 products a month now, so it's like, I couldn't record them all now, but then I could. So I just got a little, I think it's called Hyperlapse on a Samsung phone. A little time-lapse videos, and I recorded everything I did every day. And I made a point of every morning, work morning, Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning, I would post a time-lapse video of me making it, and people were messaging me going, love the videos. I wake up, get my coffee, sit down at my desk, and I watch your video before I start working. And our followers started growing on LinkedIn, and I think we're about 30, just shy of 30,000 followers or something, 12 and a half, something like that. But these followers started going, and then all of a sudden people were going, oh, could you make this? Could you make that? Now, the best thing about being a bespoke company, and people going, can you make me this, is the fact that I can then add that to my arsenal, and I don't have to pay for it. As in, they're paying me to develop a product for my company that I could put on my website for somebody else to buy. Yeah. It worked. So I went from a couple of wallets to a couple more to about 20, I think I've got now, different styles. And half the time with the new stuff, like if it's really bespoke, I won't even put it on, I'll just sort of like have it there and I'll have the pictures. And if someone gets in touch, goes, could you make something like this? I go, actually, funny enough, yeah, I can. Because now we're on a time balancing issue rather than an order flow problem. But these time-lapse videos, every day for a year, every day straight for a year. LinkedIn then changed their algorithms. A video that would get 5, 6, 7,000 views would get 200. Photos were working better than videos. Photos were easier for me to post than videos because I didn't have to record it. Yep. Started posting more pictures, and it's never really stopped from there, to be fair. So LinkedIn started favouring pictures. I started posting more pictures. It worked.
Yeah, do you feel like you have to keep adapting to what social media needs?
Kind of. I would say, and this, I think entrepreneurship's a very big field of teaching yourself your own mistakes and learning from it. Where this year, I think one of my biggest mistakes is not marketing myself enough. And I haven't put as much out there on social media this year. Meg, who obviously I've mentioned, my partner, she'll do a lot on the Facebook accounts and the Instagram accounts and all that, emails and all that the actual proactive marketing. She'll do all that, and I'll just update the website now and then. And LinkedIn, I usually post when things are a bit quieter, and I'll want a bit of a boost, turn the tap on and try and get more interest flowing, more conversations flowing. At the minute, we're talking a lot about Christmas. We're at the beginning of September, so obviously the first thing you do at the beginning of September is talk about Christmas, as you do. Did you see my post on the C word?
I did.
How great was that? That was a brilliant piece of marketing. I was well chuffed for myself. But yeah, what were we talking about?
Marketing.
Where
you're at Christmas, like what
you're
doing.
Yeah, but there's something else we're talking about. There's a reason I went on that tangent. You asked me a question, I can't remember. But what else you got?
Anyway, where's Coupland, because I always say Coupland Leather at right now? Like, what is your next focus?
I think one of the big successes with Coupland Leather is I've never had a focus, right? Bear with me. I started off Coupland Leather, as I've said, bespoke items made to order, just bits and bobs, and allowing that to flow through. Second year came around, it was more of that. Third year, more of that. But then we started. Do you know what that is? That's my alarm. Tell me to take the bins out.
For your pop.
Yeah, give me an hour and I'll be back. We started segregating the business, so we broke the company down. Effectively, the website's now really good. I've spent a lot of time working on the SEO, the back end, getting that working. So we get a lot of natural orders coming through. You know, I might get 50, 60, 70 orders a month. Naturally, without me having to push things forwards. When that dries up, that's when I post on LinkedIn. Yeah. Right? And that's where our wholesale corporate stuff starts to come in. What we started doing is breaking the business down into tiers. So a tier 1 product is sort of your 50 quid up to 250 quid. Your tier 2 is your 250 up to your 1,000. Tier 3, sort of your 1,000 plus. Yeah. And then we have what we call the core products. Core products are smaller ticket items, usually under 100 quid, which are a faster turnaround, which we want to try and sell more of. Yeah. Because you'll start your day, get all your core products made, and then you'll focus on your tiers. Does that make sense? Yeah. So over the past year, I've focused on this tiering system where we're looking at it and going, right, the core products, that's all marketing driven. Because you can't spend your time trying to sell a 100 quid product. Because if you spend all day trying to find £100 product, you'd go bust. Yeah. So they've got to be self-sufficient. So your core products and your tier 1, really, that's your SEO, that's your website, that's your day-to-day, your belts, your wallets, your key rings, your bits and bobs like that, your straw bags and stuff. That was a major focus trying to get sorted on the website. Your tier 2s, where it's a bit more expensive, they tend to be your inquiries. So people come in and go, could you make me something like this? Could you make me something like that? And it's a bit more of a bespoke thing where you've actually got to write an email, put a plan together, draw some concept drawings and get it out there and speak to them. And then your tier 3s are where someone goes, right, I want 45 folders for my business with my branding on. Can you do that?
What gives you the most, fuel in the belly?
What, is in motivation?
Yeah.
Core products, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Plumbers and leaky taps, right? A plumber will make more money going to somebody's house, fixing a leaky tap, then going to the next house, fixing a leaky tap, going to the next house, fixing a leaky tap, right? Doing that all day long, all week, than he would if he had to fit one 10 grand kitchen, or bathroom or whatever. Yeah. If I got 100 orders for core products, I could probably knock all 100 orders out in a couple of days. Where if someone wanted a bag, a bag's going to be 40 hours worth of work. So that's a whole week to make one £1,200 product. Where if we had 100 orders at 100 quid each, that's 10 grand straight off. Yeah. That's right, isn't it? Maths. I think that's right. Yeah. We'll just say yes. If it's wrong, put it in the comments, whatever. But reality, lots of little, and I love what I do, right? Not saying I don't, but when you've got to cut out perfectly every component and punch every stitch hole by hand on a bag, you better have a good set of a good playlist going on your music with your headphones on, because you're going to go stir crazy. There might be 2,000, 3,000 holes you've got to punch by hand every single time with a hammer and a punch. Yeah. I do one of my belts or something, or a wallet or something like that, with the small core products, tier 1 products. I'll make it in a couple of hours, it's done, gone out the door, and I'm like, oh, well, I've made my money now. I can get on with the next thing. Yeah. So I love my smaller stuff. I would say some of the more real bespoke things equally, because, like you say, and I've shouted about this for the past 2 weeks, but we made the Geralt Riviere Witcher armour. Now that I made that with a friend, man, he wanted it, and I was like, you know what, yeah, we'll do it as a bit of a weekend passion project thing. So he came around half a day every week on like a Saturday or Sunday, and we made this thing over several months, and it's phenomenal. Love making that, because as much as I enjoy making a wallet for someone, you know, it can get repetitive. You know, you make the same thing over and over and over again, it becomes quite repetitive, where someone goes, can you make me a full leather armour? Every bloke's going to go, I want leather armour. And you go, yeah, okay, I'll make you a leather armour suit because it's different. So as much as, you know, from a business point of view, what do I enjoy doing the most? Tier 1, Tier 2 products. It's a core and Tier 1 products, sorry. From a personal enjoyment point of view, making a suit of armour.
Yeah, that was about I was trying to get to. Yeah, the passion comes in.
Yeah, you know, yeah, you literally, you're taking, or what I was taking an image and going, right, I'm going to make a chest plate, but he's got a stitch in there, or he's got a mark there, or he's got this there, a buckle there, or a strap there, and all of a sudden you're taking it and you're literally blowing it up in your head and going, right, I need this, and this, and dragging it all back together and creating something from literally nothing from an image.
So this is what I said to you before, obviously you've self-taught yourself for that, but with you being able to create that,
yeah,
I think it's already deep within you.
Oh, huge.
That you can do it, because you might be able to teach me how to do the wallet, but then that comes out and be like, I don't know where to start.
Yeah, well, it's like PT, you know. If you came to my house or my workshop and said, Stu, I want to make a wallet, me and you could make a wallet and it would be beautiful by the end of the time we finished. But then if I went, go and make another one, you'd look at a sheet of paper, leather, and go, But it's the same in here. I walked through a PT session with you, we start lifting weights, doing this, and you go, right, Stu, you need to do this weight, this exercise, this many reps, this whatever, and then this, you know, I walk in the next day all buzzed up and go, shit, what did we do yesterday? Yeah. You know, luckily you've got your week. I work out. I was going to take a picture. I was going to nick your ideas. But yeah, you know, it's out of ingrained now. And I do say one of the big successes of my company and what I've been able to do is create my own templates, my own designs. Yeah. You know, one of the first things you do whenever you take up a new craft, and it can be any craft, is you join the Facebook groups. Yep. You know, I joined one the other day because I've always fancied making a hat. Don't know why. I joined a hat making group. But, you know, you see all the people, they're making these things, and leather in particular, they'll go, oh, I've bought this design from these people, and this is what I've made. And, you know, it's sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's not. But, you know, you're like, oh, yeah, but they've made something which is available online, which is very generic. You know, everyone can go and buy it for $10 and give it a go. Where what I've been able to do is go, yeah, we'll strip that down. Like that bag I did for that gentleman, his granddad's bag. So this guy, he's a good client of mine, long-standing client of mine. And he said, my granddad, we've got this bag of him, he's obviously passed away now. The client himself is sort of getting on. So his granddad's, you know, gone. And he said, I've got his bag here, it's tattered, you know, it's wrecked, the handles are all peeling off, the rope showing the end, so what can we do? And I said, why don't I just take all the dimensions, I'll literally redesign the entire bag on Illustrator completely from scratch. What do you want to change on it? Because they had some outside pockets, I don't want any pockets on the outside, but can we put them inside? Can we do this? Can we do that? You know, we made them a folder, I want a folder to fit in a big pocket here, and, you know, completely stripped this down and recreated it. You can't go and buy a template for that. You've got to understand how the materials work, how the templates work, how everything goes together and stitches together. How the person wants it. How the person wants it. You know, you've got to be able to create it from scratch. So teaching myself how to do that, you know, one of the reasons is because those two horrible wallets I made at the very early days, I bought the templates and they were dog shit. So I was like, well, I ain't doing that again. So I went on and how to design your own wallet, watch the tutorial, you know. I remember I used to make my watch straps on an envelope. So when I'd finished it, I could open the envelope because I made it from the edge. So it was already folded paper. I could just cut it, unfold it, and go, hey, I've got two sides of a watch strap now. You know what I mean? And everything kind of came from literally drawing out by hand, then learn how to use Illustrator, and then putting it together. Now, when you design a bag, you might have a front panel, a side panel, and you'll plan all the stitch holes out, but all those stitch holes have to line up with those ones. But then you'll make the base piece, well, those stitch holes have to line up with that bit, and then you have the pockets, the straps, the lid, everything else, and all the stitch holes have to line up with everything. You could be there for days, hours, days, weeks, just making sure that every little 1 millimeter hole lines up with every other little 1 millimeter hole.
Which is what people don't see.
No.
Which is why you them prices are a little bit higher.
Yeah.
It's fully made by you.
Absolutely.
Because anyone can go buy a cheap leather bag from Turkey.
Anyone can go and buy an expensive leather bag.
Yeah.
This is the thing, you look at your really big designer brands. We all know which ones they are. You got your Gucci, Louis Vuitton, everyone, and not knocking the bags in any way, but that bag that you've got, there's another one on the shelf behind it, there's another one behind that. There's so many in the stockroom, there's so many in the warehouses, there's so many around the world of that one bag that you're paying £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 for. We'll make your bag for £1,000 or £2,000. That one of maybe 10 in the world of a design that I've created myself, but you've got to choose the leather colour, the thread colour. We can put your stamps into it, your initial, you can sign a piece of paper, digitise your signature and put it into the leather. We'll make the bag for you. So, yeah, right, I might have designed that bag and made it 3 or 4 times, but that one that you've got is one.
Yeah.
And that's what people are paying for.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'll ask you that question. So from the original experience in Turkey with that guy giving you a little bit more time, a little bit more thing, does that stem into what you put into the
100%. So I was wearing it was a Samsung Galaxy Sport watch. I obviously don't wear them anymore because I don't exercise.
You do now.
Yeah, I do. Obviously, I do every day at GYM22. I come here every morning and work out. But I was wearing this sports watch, and the watch I had was a 20 millimeter lug distance between the lugs. The watch strap that I liked from him was 22 mil, so it was 2 mil too big. So he just cut the now obviously being a leathersmith, he cut the corners off and made it fit right. Then as a customer, I was like, whoa, he completely changed this watch strap. He bespoke it. He had his knives out and he was flicking things and edging things, and it was like insane. He cut the edges off, smoothed them off and put it on my watch. Yeah. But the really cool thing that I liked about it, and I've never changed a buckle in my life at this point, I didn't like the buckle that was on the strap that was in the cabinet, but I liked a different one. It had all these fancy engravings on. So he swapped the buckles around. Now, swapping a buckle takes a minute. But the experience of me being able to choose what buckle went on that strap, him going, it won't fit, but I'll make it fit for you. And all this, 100% that stemmed.
It's an experience that people don't.
I had a gentleman, I put it on LinkedIn the other day actually, he sent me this really nice bit of feedback, I don't know if you read it or not, but a gentleman out in America, he bought a A5 ring binder for us and a pen holder. And he sent me all the dimensions for his pen. So when I make a pen holder, I make them fit what they're going to put in, because all pens are different, That's obviously a different size to a Bic, for example. Yeah. So he sent me all these dimensions. I made him this pen holder, sent it off, and he messaged me and said, "Oh, it doesn't fit." I said, "What do you mean it doesn't fit?" He said, "Well, the holes, the slots in the pen holder are massive compared to the pens." And I went back and had a look. He'd measured the pen lid, not the pen body. So if he put the pens upside down, they would have fit perfectly. But as it was, they were just too big. So I made him another one, didn't charge him. I said, "Look, keep it. I can't do anything with it, so keep it. I'll make another, I'll send out." This is to the US, so every time you send out, it's not cheap. But I made him a brand new one, took all the proper measurements, sent him some diagrams, made sure we got everything right, made a new one, sent it out. Couple of weeks had passed, heard nothing back, emailed him, "How's your pen holder, does it fit okay?" Because obviously I checked the tracking number first, arrived. I know he's got it. Yeah. How did it fit? Has it arrived yet? How is it? It got nicked. I said, "What do you mean it got nicked?" So we went to the post box and someone swiped it out. The Americans have those ones.
The mailbox, yeah.
Mailbox, they swiped it from the mailbox. I was like, fuck, what do I do? So I made him a third one, free of charge, sent it out to him, got him an address that someone was definitely going to be there and it wasn't going to get pinched, and I replaced it a third time, sent him a third one for free. For me, if I gone and spent the money he'd spent on an item, I would hope that someone would look after me.
Yeah.
Big company would go, not my fault, I got nicked.
Yeah.
But for me, like, if I'm going to spend a couple $100 in a wallet, I want the wallet to be perfect. I had a guy who emailed us a couple of months ago. He bought a wallet off me back in 2021. So we're obviously like 3 or 4 years down the line now at this point. 3 years down the line now at this point. Some of the stitching had come undone at the top of where the pockets are. He said, how much would it be to have it repaired? I went, no, send it to me. I'll fix it. I'll polish it up. I'll restitch the top and I'll send you it back. I'm not going to charge somebody for that, because at the end of the day, we're going back to 2021.
Yeah.
Like, we're in lockdown. I ain't got much money and I'm trying to pay my bills and eat and survive. And this guy trusted me to make him something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's no way.
Loyalty.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to not fix a product that I've got, which I've said is going to last you for life. So yeah, I fixed it for free. And, officially, you can't put that on paper and say, I'll fix everything for free, because I might just say that and then I'll go bust.
Yeah.
Because I spent the next 3 years fixing everything because the stitching's come undone. Hopefully that's not going to happen. But morally, if someone gets in touch and something's legitimately gone wrong with a product I've made, I'll put that right, because I wouldn't feel right if I spent the money that I asked people to spend with me and something had gone wrong to not put it right for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Which is go back to the experience and the passion that you put into each one.
But that guy's going to tell everyone.
Yeah.
These people.
I tell everyone, look at this.
Exactly, yeah. How old's that? Well, how long have you had the gym for now?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. So that was just after you moved in. So that's a year and a half old now.
Yeah.
You've obviously stretched it to shit.
More and more credit cards because I've got a business.
And every receipt you've ever had through the business is still stuffed in the middle. But you know what, right? The stitching, you've literally put about 20 cards more than this was ever designed to hold. But the stitching's not come undone. Looks phenomenal though.
It's amazing.
But it's patinaed and that looks better now than the day you bought it.
But you said that, and
yeah,
it's
looking better if you can stretch it. But.
Nah, it looks good now. GYM22.
GYM22.
Obviously, I bought a few for
clients and things.
For clients, for friends.
Which are around the world as well.
Around the world, Australia. Obviously, he loves his.
Good.
But yeah, I think they're absolutely amazing, mate.
Thank you.
What I was going to say is, what's your favourite item that you've ever made?
Shell cardigan duffel bag.
Apart from the GYM22 wallet.
Obviously, sorry, the GYM22 wallet. But if it wasn't for that, yeah. Right. Ask me again.
What's the best ever, favourite thing you've ever made?
The GYM22 wallet.
Yeah.
Apart from that, though, I made a duffel bag for a gentleman. I think he was from Iowa, but it was made out of shell cardigan. Now, not many people know shell cardigan. It's one of those products where if you don't know about it, it's probably because you're not interested or you wouldn't spend the money on it. Yeah. It's one of those sort of materials. But shell is the membrane, so it's not leather technically, it's membrane from the rump of a horse, so from its ass cheek, right? It's about this big. Any bigger, and it starts leaving that sort of area, it's no longer genuine shell cardigan. Again, about that big, about £200 a shell. And this gentleman, he got in touch and he said, I'd like a duffel bag. It has to fit in the overhead sort of lockers on a plane. He wanted them the same sort of colours as a pair of shell cardigan boots he had, or shoes he had. So I sat down with him, sorted all this out. The bag itself was about £6,000 to make. When you're, that's what I feel as well. When you're making, or so when you get an inquiry like this, the first thing you go is, he ain't gonna buy that. I'll price it because, I could be wrong, but he ain't gonna buy it. And when he came back and went, yeah, I'll do it, I'll be honest, my guts fell out. Because firstly, the material costs are going to be the best part of £3,000 anyway, straight away, before you've done anything, just buying what you need to make a duffel bag out of shell cardigan. It's going to be a lot of money. So there's
extra careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every mistake,
yeah.
When you make, I don't know, you make something an Excel sheet or a Word document, or you can undo it. or you can try again, or you're going to put a little wooden panel shelf up, you just buy a new piece of wood and it costs you 20 quid. Every mistake with leather is undoable. You can't, you scratch it, that piece is gone. Every mistake on a shell bag is 200 quid. And that ain't something you come back from lightly. I had to buy 17 shells in, so that's 2,400 quid, plus everything else that goes along, plus VAT. So what I ended up doing was, I got the order in, got basically my duffel bag design, we designed these things on the computer, so reprinted it off, cut it all up, placed it on all the shells. So I put all the shells across the floor in the workshop, and I put each one on, and then I recut it, resized it, made everything fit onto these little oval pieces of leather, or membrane technically. These little oval piece of leather, we'll call them leather, and redesigned the bag to fit shell cardigan shells. But then there's does my design work? I've cut all this up and I've tried to, I was literally printing off strips of just punch holes and then cutting them up and like sellotaping them to the templates to try and add stitch holes to make things fit and like a big jigsaw. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. So I bought a normal sheet of leather in for a couple hundred quid, made an entire bag out of normal leather just to make sure my templates worked. And then once I'd done that, there was one or two changes. I was like, you know what, I've made that in two parts, I could have made it in one. Stuff like that, so stuck a few bits together. Hoped that didn't change the overall integrity of the bag and how it stitches, because you'll have seen things when you stitch things together, it'll buckle if it's not perfectly lined up. So I just took a gamble and made this duffel bag, and it was phenomenal. Absolutely stunning, this bag. I mean, like, I must have 100 photos of it, because I was like, I ain't making another one of these. There's definitely not the biggest chance that it ain't something you're going to get every week. So I was like, I've got workshop, I've got production photos, I've got staged studio photos, I've got little modelling photos walking around with it. The guy was that happy with it, he gave me an email back and said, how much for a bigger one? And I was like, whoa, I went about 13 grand. He went, I'll let you know. But, I made that, and to be fair, like, the tannery that we got the shells from, because it was English Cardigan as well, they've gone bust. So English Cardigan doesn't exist. To my knowledge, there isn't another English Cardigan duffel bag in the world, and you can't buy the materials anymore. So God knows how rare that bag is now, or how much that'll be worth if it's to the right buyer. But they were like, oh my God, can we share the photos? And I was like, yeah, of course you can. And I've had conversations with the leathersmiths being like, oh, what's your favourite product? Like, oh, I've made the shell cardigan bag. Like, that was you? And people were like, do you know how ballsy that was? I was like, yeah, I know how ballsy it was, because I had sleepless nights over making the bloody thing.
You dares wins, mate.
Exactly, that's it. So yeah, I would say that of everything I've ever made, that there stands out as the one thing where I'm like, I'm proud I made that. Like, I've done something there which I never thought, one, I'd have the balls to do, but be able to pull off as well.
Class. And
I couldn't afford to refund him, so I had to make it.
Yeah. And the GYM22 wallet.
And the GYM22 wallet.
Obviously. Well, obviously, the story's been told of, obviously, the leather, your passion, everything like that. Mm-hmm. I think going to business, ordering, who does the accounts?
Me.
Marketing, social media.
Yeah.
Everything is, this is the bit that people don't, they'll have a passion, but can they do the rest of it all in tandem? You don't have to do it well, but as long as there's only you to do it.
You've got to do it to a point where you either don't go bust or get put in prison for tax fraud. So, you've got to do it fairly well. Just giggle away over there. Yeah, everything's me. I think one of the big things, when you talk about Coupland Leather, especially on social media, it's we produce this. It's me. There's no one else.
I was going to mention that earlier.
Yeah, everything's we, the royal we.
Yeah.
We produce this, we did that, we did this. We've been working with these people. I. It's on me. And Meg, to be fair, she does all the marketing, as you know. But predominantly, it's me. So I'll get recruitment companies ringing me, go, oh, can I speak to the recruitment manager? I'm like, who's that? You know.
2 seconds.
Yeah. You know, and then you just change your voice and start going, but yeah. No, it's everything's me. And it's hard. You know what I mean? It ain't an easy task. Things definitely go undone for a long period of time. I know fine well, I made a bag for a gentleman last year, last Christmas, a stunning bag. I can't remember the full story, but basically, I think his grandma was called Anne. She passed away. I think he had an auntie, his wife, and several people within the family was called Anne. And we made him an Anne bag. Handbag, right? Yeah. But we put Anne
That's a
on
Borough way of saying it.
Yeah, exactly, Anne bag. And, you know, we put Anne on the inside, and this bag was stunning. It is stunning. It was like chocolate leather on the outside. We had a custom dyed orange on the outside. It was like a chocolate orange like mix. Like, it was only a little bag, gorgeous bag. Still isn't on the website. You know, and this is the thing, when you own your own business, you can't physically do everything. You've got to prioritise everything from not going to prison to making sales. You know, so you've got to get your tax done, you've got to get your VAT done. You know, we had to go VAT register in October last year. That was a learning curve. I still look at everything from a turnover point of view, ink VAT, because I've done that for years. And it was only the other week I was sat there going, you know, Graham, we've done, I don't know, 10 grand. I'm going, min, 10 grand. I'm going, well, actually, that's 8. Because I have to give 2 grand to the tax man. So I'm going, oh, I've only done 8 grand. How much have I spent? 8.5. I'm going, fuck. You know, and you're going, all right, okay, well, I thought it was £1.5 grand up, but I'm not. I'm 500 quid down.
Yeah.
So there's still learning curves to knowing everything. So you've got to prioritise things in the right way and make sure everything gets done as best as you can. Obviously, from an account's point of view, I have an accountant.
Yeah.
You know, I track everything. I make sure I've got everything. I send all my information to them. They'll then process it and go, Stu, you're the tax man, this much money, and I send them the money and they pay all for me, and, you know, my hands are clean. So from an accountancy point of view, yeah, like that's probably my biggest, I don't want to go to prison, that's what's going to do it. Like, they deal with that, but you pay a professional.
Let them go to prison.
Oh yeah, but to be fair, even if they get it wrong, it's still on my head. Like, I don't know how that works. But, you know, you do those bits. But when it comes to market and running a business, it's just down to prioritising. I wake up, get downstairs, have a shower, get dressed, get downstairs. First thing I'll do is emails. If I've got an inquiry, I'll get back to it. If I need to do a design piece, I'll put it into my to-do list. I get all my core products done because they're the fastest.
Yeah.
Morning spent doing all that. Come mid-afternoon, I'll do either design or I'll do like prep work. So if I'm doing a bespoke wallet for somebody and they've chosen I want royal blue leather, I'll cut crust leather, which is natural veg tan, undyed. Cut all those bits and get them dyed to dry for the next day, and then I'll go back through to do more design work or whatever it might be. And then I'll go at the end of the day and I'll go, right, okay, I better do a LinkedIn post and schedule for tomorrow, or I better do this, or I better do that, or I need to go to this person, or I've got a meeting to go to, I've got to do a post office run, you know. So, you know, I think when it comes to, especially in a craft business or a business where you've got to physically make something, you have to kind of divide your time. You get 8 hours in a day, apparently. You get 8 hours in a day, you only get 2 or 3 hours to deliver on a product, and the rest of the time is split between meetings, marketing, postal runs. Like, you know, I live in a village. My nearest post office is 25 minutes away. So for me to do a postal run, it's an hour driving plus 20 minutes in the thing. So it's an hour and a half out of your day, and you've got to get there before 4:30, otherwise you miss the postal collection. So all of a sudden you've only got until 3 o'clock in reality to, or 3, half 3, 4-ish, whatever. But you've only got to make sure, you've got to make sure you're at the post office for 4:30. So you lose a big chunk at the end of your day. So then you've got the rest of the morning to go, right, okay, how am I going to split these 3, 4, 5 hours up? And then if you have a meeting or whatever, it just, you know. So, yeah, it's very difficult to wear multiple hats in a business, but at the same time you go, well, you better get staff. And you go, well, you can't do that.
I was going to ask you about the growth, actually, before that. Like, well, is I becoming...
Going to become we?
Yeah.
Is I going to become we? So at the minute, I work a lot from home. You know, if I'm going to get staff in, I have to get a premise, because obviously you don't want staff walking around your house. Or you're going to have to figure out that solution. Then you're going to have HR, you're going to have additional insurance. You're going to have more equipment, a bigger premise because, my workshop's great for one person, maybe two, but you'll bump into each other a bit.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, all these extra costs start piling in. And then you're looking at your turnover and going, well, okay, this month would have been all right, but last month would have struggled, or how are we doing the pipeline for next month? And then you go, well, if there's 2 years, you can spend more time on this. And you're in chicken and the egg, and there's a risk, and but the big question, and I think a lot of business owners who I've particularly spoken to are watching this will go, you've got to decide between lifestyle and corporation in a way. Do you really want the stresses and struggles? Do you want to go from being the guy who's really passionate about making a shell cardboard bag, or do you want to be the guy that is really passionate about HR meetings and staff meetings and productivity meetings and right now, I live in a beautiful place. I love what I do. I make nice products. I get to pay my bills, and live a really comfortable, nice life doing all of that. Or do I want to push this business and, I think, get to the potential, Scott, because it does have potential. But that lifestyle gets taken away.
100%.
And it goes to something completely different. And it's a big thing. I was talking to Meg about it the other day. We're driving home, and we had this I was having this sort of moment when music was playing, your head goes into this other little world. And I was like, I've slaved, and you use that word but literally you're talking, and yourself running a business. You'll do easy 12 hours a day, and even if you're not working, the back of your head you're working. So yeah, the days I'll have the day off, you're not. Because you procrastinate on something, you're thinking about something, you're processing things. 5 years now, I'll be 5 years at the end of this year, in a couple of months, it'll be 5 years I've been doing this for. I'm like, if I do this for another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and Coupland Leather goes on big and bigger, and I just keep it me, what happens when I retire? This thing, this entity, this business that you've built, this crest that is out there, it's about 6,500 products. Some right now, people walking around 26 different countries right now of my products, things that they love. You carry that every day with you. I've got a business coach that I work with. I've redone the handles on his bag, and he's like, every time I pick up my bag, it's like I feel connected. It's different. Yeah. And you're going, if I retire, if I get ill, if I get injured,
something.
Where does it go? Yeah. It's gone. It's physically gone. There's no one else to pick up that baton and run with it or do something with it. That legacy dies with me right now. And it's quite a scary thought. I've got the thing tattooed on my arm. It's on my ring. It's like, it's ingrained physically into me. But it's a massive part of my personality now, who I am. I said to Tony in earlier, I said to Tony, or just a question, do you know actually what, you're the leather guy? Yeah. And it's like, well, people know me for being something, but if I stop doing it, it goes. Yeah. So it's like, well, the only other way of doing that is getting staff or growing it but
I think you choose between happiness or business within, in a sense, like your passionate thingy. If that's keeping you happy, that's great. If you can grow the business and be happy, then it's a different thing.
That's the balance.
It's a risk. It depends if you're choosing money or happiness.
Yeah.
I think at that crossroad,
there's got to be a balance.
Do we grow it? Is it a bit of a pension pot and leave a bit of a legacy? Mm-hmm. That's that point. Or you keep living this great, I hate balance, but it's balance, yeah. This great life that all the cogs turn, and I'm having time with Meg, I'm at home here, I'm building, I'm passionate about this, and I'm my own boss, I can go where the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, I can stop, I could literally go, I'm not going to work today. Let's go here, Meg.
Yeah. And that happens often. Obviously, Meg now, she's got a job. She was obviously working photography, she's now got a job. So the getting up and going for her side of doing stuff together has kind of died off a bit. And in a way, that kind of makes it easier for me to go, oh, well, if I did get a venue and a staff member, we're not just popping off to the beach anymore. We're not just going to the cinema and taking a Skype. We're not, she's got to work. So it's like, well, I'm sat here, may as well have some help. So in a way, it's a big thing, and you can tell it's obviously been on my mind a lot, and it's up, down, and some days you're like, oh, I just wish I have someone to just polish that bit of leather and put the finishing gels on. I just wish somebody could cut those bits out for me while I did this. And, and to be fair, in the past, I've hired my mum. When,
I remember my mum working when I come round one day.
It's one of those things that you go, you sat at home or you go to your mum's for your tea or something, and you sat there and I just wish I could have a bit of help. And she goes, I can help you. And I'm like, look, if you want to come round and just do a few basic bits, and a few basic bits came to 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and a bit more and a bit more and a bit more, and then I'm going to have to start paying you here. And then a bit more and a bit more and a bit more, and all of a sudden I'd hire my mum. Now, to be fair, because business goes up and down and things like that, like she had another part-time job, she had to give more money or more attention to that, and but when it comes to Christmas, if I need her, she's there, and I've kind of got like a part-time trained person to help me if I need to. Happens to be my mum. It means that I know she's kind of passionate about it as well, because she doesn't want my business to struggle. So it's nice and it's great to have her there. But I think I don't know. I feel like there's a need for more people. I'm waiting for the time. What might happen is I might get a job come in, and I'm like, there's no way I can do that on my own. Yeah. And then I am going to have to get someone in part-time or something and go as a temporary staff member. It stems from there. This is the whole thing with Coupland Leather. You asked me before, like, where's the path, where's things going, all that. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never pushed Coupland Leather. I've never tried to force it or run with it or get investors and try to really ram it down and build it. I've allowed it to naturally walk itself, and I've just sort of trailed behind it, picking up the pieces and doing what the business wants me to do. And I think that's one of the nicest ways to run a company, where like I'm not forcefully trying to grow. I'm just allowing the natural trajectory of the business to take me forwards. It means like I've not got any additional strains, any path. And if it gets too much, it's very easy to just come back a bit. Yeah. Where I feel like if I got investors or something, and then, they're all asking performance, this, that, and the other, and bits and bobs, and I'm going, well, actually, it wasn't as good last month. Why? And it's like, oh, hang on a minute, and
I think with investors, they have to bring something other than money, because you can go to the bank for money. Yeah. With an investor, you'd want them. They'd have to either have loads of shops and they want to invest it, and then you're in all these shops. But other than that, if it's just a money thing, you can go to the bank for that. Yeah,
but you go to all these shops, I've got to make all the bastard products that go in them.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? So there ain't no small feat to go, we've got 50 shops, you can put them in there. Go, well, what, do you want one product each?
Ma'am.
What do you want from me? Sorry, what was your next question, mate?
Oh, no, I was just going to, obviously, what the journey you've been on, and you've obviously got a lot of experience on your own. Mm-hmm. Setbacks, any real setbacks that you can give someone advice?
I think there's you know what, right? If you ask me this question at 8 different times of the year, you'd get 8 different answers. Yeah. And I think whenever people go, what's the best bits, what's the hardest bits, what's this, that, it changes month to month because you have different experiences. Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things about entrepreneurship, and I'll go on to this here, because obviously I'm up, well, I say obviously, people might not know, but I'm up for an award in a couple of months for the Great British Entrepreneurship Awards. Really happy about, really pleased about it. We're recognised as one of the leading entrepreneurs for the country, which is phenomenal for me to say. For Maker and Creator of the Year, which again, in a category which I'm really passionate about. But you have that imposter syndrome going, yeah, but Stu, mate, like last year you did better. Yeah. Like last year you made more money. So are you really an entrepreneur? Are you failing? And these little questions go on the back of your head. And I'd say that's one of the biggest setbacks I've had this year. And the biggest thing that comes to me is going, you know what? If you looked at your numbers from the quarter last year to compared to this year, you're down. So what you're doing, like, are you really one of the, are you just, and I think the biggest things about entrepreneurship is you have to kind of, you got to learn from your mistakes, you got to learn from your challenges, and I think that's what entrepreneurship's about. It's not about making the most amount of money. It's not about being the big successful one. Success is comparative.
Self-defined.
It's comparative, yeah. Like, if someone says to you, are you successful? Compared to what? Compared to who? Yeah. Like, what is success? Oh, are you rich? Compared to who?
That's their
What's rich?
successful,
Yeah, and that's their interpretation. They see the truck that I drive and go, "Whoa, you must make loads of money." Compared to who?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what I mean. If you compare me to like some randomer walking down the street, maybe I make more than them, maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Amount of clients I've had who turned up with ripped jeans and a scruffy top on and driving a crap car, but they're a multi-millionaire because they've got other things to spend the money on. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of people have this thing with entrepreneurship. It's about the most money you can make, the most this, the most that. Nah, it's not. Entrepreneurship is about getting challenges and overcoming them. It's about not giving up, not backing down, so it's about pushing forwards. And this year I've had a challenging year, but I feel like I need a challenging year.
Yeah.
If I had an easy year this year, I think my head would have just got too big. I think I would have just gone big and big and big, and I would have spent more and more money. But now I've gone and bought a truck. I've gone, oh my God, that's an expensive truck. I shouldn't really have bought that. In my head, I'm going, right, okay, you're going to have to earn the truck now. You're going to have to work hard to keep it. You're also going to have to make a choice on what comes first, business or truck, basically. What sacrifice you're going to give up to keep the truck. Yeah. And all these things, and you're going, well, do I get rid of it next year? I remember very early days, I used to drive a Qashqai. Still got the Qashqai, but I used to drive a Qashqai. And people go, oh, you're going to get rid of the Qashqai? I'm going, nah. Qashqai cost me nothing to have. And, you look at the cost differences. You buy a sheet of leather in, it'll cost you 200 quid. But you can make 10 wallets at 10 wallets out of that sheet of leather and sell for 200 quid each. Well, all of a sudden you've got 2 grand. So 200 quid turns to 2 grand. And you're going, well, if I spent an extra 400 quid in a car, well, that's 400 quid, that's 2 sheets of leather, that's 4 grand.
Yeah.
That's what, £3,600 worth of profit I could have, or do I want a better car? And all of a sudden these little questions go in your head, and I'm looking at this truck going, I know. How much is that truck? Yeah. How many sheets of leather is that truck? How much profit am I pissing down the drain by owning that truck?
It's priorities. It depends what you want.
And that's it. So, challenges this year, I think there's been a lot of lessons to learn this year going, where do you put your money? How do you spend it? How do you spend your time? One of the big things that I've been wanting to do this year, not got around to, again, too many hats. I'm in the process of developing what we're calling the Coupland Group. So Coupland Leather is going to become the Coupland, or a part of the Coupland Group. I think I've told you about this, haven't I, in the past? Yeah. So, in effect, we're making multiple other companies all feeding back into the one. So I'm making a watch strap company that's solely going to work on bespoke straps. Yeah. We're making a wholesale company, so that's purely just going to work on the wholesale corporate side of things, talking to businesses about mass production, about larger orders. Yeah. And as much as it's going to produce similar things as Coupland Leather does, the wholesale company is going to be doing it pre-dyed leathers only and stuff like that, so it can bring the cost right down, where Coupland Leather's all about hand-dyed, bespoke, one-off pieces. What other businesses? We've got the more adult side of the company. His eyes are wide open. You can't see this, but he's going, hang on, what adult company? And it's exactly what you're thinking it is, to be fair. But in the reality of craft, and this is the thing, I was a bit like, I'm not doing that. And obviously when you start working in leather, people go, hey, what do you make? And all this, well, what fetishes? The reality, when you're making some body harness or some straps or handcuffs or paddle, it's straps of leather and a bit of stitching with some buckles. It isn't complicated to make. I would say making a body harness is very similar to making a belt. It's just a strap of leather, stitching down, putting some hardware on, and then you just repeat it over and over again. Obviously, you've got to get the size right and all the rest of it. But they're easy to make. In effect, they're core products. The things you can knock out in a morning, half a day, and sell for good, profitable money, which has been a challenge in itself, because I decided to create a leather company with a great brand, a great logo and name and everything else, and I took too long to launch it, and someone else has gone and launched a company under the same name, which I can't now use it, but they make clothing for kids. So I can't launch a bondage company in the same name as somebody who makes kids clothing. Like, one, legal problems, two, moral problems.
Yeah.
So I'm now having to rebrand and rethink all of these products because I've got to put this logo on them. So hopefully, I've used an emblem, so hopefully the emblem has nothing to do with the name. And I won't say what it is for, obviously, their company. But I'm hopefully I can come up with a new name which works with the same emblem, so I'm not going to remake the products, rebrand them all. But, so we've got that company, and there is another one, which is
Lifestyle.
lost me. What was it?
Coupland Lifestyle.
Well, the Coupland Lifestyle stuff, that's kind of just a generalised modelling style thing.
Did a great model for that.
Yeah, he did, didn't we? Yeah, the clothing and all that. Yeah.
I'm not doing the bondage.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, he says he's doing the bondage. I've seen the photos of you all tanned up in your shorts, holding your little sign. I can get you a spray machine. We can get your teeth whitened. You'll be all right.
Where you got the strap from? We've got to take it where you got the strap from.
Yeah, but so I can't remember what the bloody question. I go on tangents like I forget what we're talking about. But you're talking about challenges and all the rest of it. There are a lot of things that we want to do, I want to do within the business, which I haven't been able to because it's just me. You've only got so much time and all this, and mentally as well. I was very much let's just work 14 hours a day, wake up, do it again. I've started trying to switch off in a night, trying.
Yeah.
Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't. You kind of feel guilty sometimes going, Stu, you really should have launched some of these companies by now. I should have launched that bondage company by now. Everything's prepped. I was waiting for the terms and conditions to arrive. And in the time from my terms and conditions arriving from the solicitors, or from sending off for them and arriving, this other company popped up. So, my procrastination on that has hindered me from launching a business. So, you kind of go, you know what, Stu, if you pulled your finger out and you didn't have some of those nights off, you probably could have launched that business. But equally, if I didn't have those nights off, I would have been a lot worse or something else.
You might have launched it, not so great. With that changing to a different name, that could excel that one. So things happen for you.
Exactly, there'll be a reason for it and it'll happen.
Yeah. Well, let's go on some fun questions, mate. Only a couple, to be fair.
Go on then.
That's not that one. Let's go favourite movie.
Favourite movie?
Gone right off business and we'll go.
Oh, jeez.
Favourite movie.
There's a lot. At the minute, it's going to be Deadpool 3 because it's out and I loved it and I got to meet the character, the actors.
I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Let's link in with that just quickly.
All right, okay. So a friend of mine got in touch last year and asked me to make him a cosplay Cyclops harness, which we did. I did that. And it was phenomenal, great. And then he said to me, Stu, you should come to one of these events. And I was like, ain't my thing, and kind of shied away from it. He said, no, do it. And I was like, okay, fine, right, I'll do it. Who should I be? And he went, well, you got a big beard. It's small at the minute, but it's usually bigger. Be Beast. So I blew it up, completely went blue. We made a suit and I went as Beast to a photo shoot event thing. And that went well. And then he was like, oh, could you make me a Witcher outfit? So we started making the Witcher outfit, which we talked about earlier. And then he messaged and went, oh, Stu, by the way, we've been invited to the Wolverine Deadpool premiere for in London. Do you want to come? And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. So went to London, dressed as Beast, bright blue hair, face, everything. Got to get changed and or painted up in a car park. And I got to meet Ryan Reynolds, got to meet Hugh Jackman, got to meet pretty much all the cast, the producers. Watched, it was a mini prem, which is like the first half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever it was, of the movie. Got to meet Lee Francis, who is the gentleman that portrays, oh my God, help me out.
What? No, I thought you meant in the film there.
No,
Lemon.
Keith Lemon. My head went blank there. So he portrays Keith Lemon, all the rest of it, but Lee's an absolute phenomenal guy, extremely kind person. He ended up becoming a client. All from this, do you want to build a Cyclops harness? So I suggest one thing which snowballed into getting to go to a movie premiere on the red carpet, meet Hugh Jackman, who's probably my all-time favourite actor. So I was Yeah, 100% man crush. You know, I'm not even scared to admit it. He's sexier in person as well. What a man! What an absolute man. But yeah, you know, it just snowballed on this thing, and hopefully, you know, getting to do more of it. And now I put out on LinkedIn about the outfits that I've built, these leather armor pieces, and there are conversations that have lined up and already kind of happened around movies, TV shows, and other areas where we can. Or that's French, isn't it? I can produce these armor sets for some TV shows, hopefully, and bits and pieces. I did once get, I was under NDA, so I won't say too much, but I did once get the chance to produce a keyring for a TV show, and I was really proud of it. I mean, really proud of it. I told my missus, and you know, we had a little thing, we got all popcorn, and we watched the TV show, and I swear, right, they picked this keyring up from the footwell of a car, and it was about a fraction of a second, you seen the glimpse of the colour of the keyring, and that was it for the entire show. But
you made that.
It was there, right? And I've got a still somewhere of me taking a picture of the TV where you can see this glimpse, this flash of grey, I think it was, of this keyring on this Amazon show. But I made that. First piece on TV. So favourite movie at the minute, Deadpool 3. 1, because there's a lot of memories to it. 2, because it's absolutely awesome. It's a mid-film. I think 3, because it's have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's a complete piss take in everything.
Yeah.
And it's just funny. I'm not saying, no, don't worry, I'm not going to ruin it. I wouldn't ruin it for everyone watching either. But it's just hilarious. They just rip the piss out of everything. And it's just, it's phenomenal. It's Deadpool 1 on steroids.
So if there was a film, which actor would you want to play?
Oh, Hugh Jackman. Obviously, because I'm ripped to bits. No,
it will be.
Yeah, it will be. I hope that doesn't fall. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would depend on which movie it would be and all the rest of it. But Hugh's got quite a good range, so I would allow Hugh to play me. I think he's good enough.
So obviously this is a podcast, GYM22, which is based in Teesside.
Yeah. What's
your favourite thing about? I'll say the Northeast.
The Northeast. You know what I would say the best thing about the Northeast, and I'm purely going down a business route here, but the supportiveness of business in the Northeast. And you know, if you actually took the time, and I'm obviously talking not you, but anyone watching, if you took the time to research into Middlesbrough Teesside area and the companies that we've got here and what they produce and what they do and where they send it and who they work with, we've got some incredible, and I mean like literally gobsmacking incredible businesses here. But I've still never came up against a businessman in Teesside who's ever said no to helping me. You know, every single one. And that's like the business mentality here. If you go to someone in Teesside and say, I need some help with something, like one, as an entrepreneur, someone comes to you, I need help with this, you're like, yeah, I'll help you. You know, you get a big head and you think you can do everything. But that's it, that every single businessman in the area want to help people. They want to, and I think that I'd say that's the proudest thing I've got from being a Teesside, especially just from a business point of view, is I've never to the day seen somebody say no to helping someone. And I think we've got a very supportive and really good, strong business network in Teesside.
Yeah, I was going to say the people that literally.
Not all of them. But
well, yeah.
I've been here for 30 odd years, mate, not all of them.
The people,
they're a very friendly, nice bunch of people, Northerners. Proper Northerners, not Midlanders, but Northerners.
Like gravy on everything.
Yeah. Love a good palm.
So just a flip to GYM22.
Go on then.
Short sentence.
What about this place?
Yeah.
You?
Oh, thanks,
and I'm not even bigging your head up there. You know, one, obviously, you know, let's go to the building itself. You've got incredible machinery. You've got a good layout. You've got a good setup. You've got good people in here again. You know, I've been in here more times than I'd like to admit, because it's a gym. You know, I've never seen anybody with an ego. I've never seen anybody, you know, laugh and take the piss out of anybody. I've sent my own mum here, sent my brother here. Yep. They've both done successful while they've been here. So the gym in itself, great. It's a good gym. You know what I mean? It's a good gym. You, as a guy, you're a very nice, supportive person. You know, I can text you, I can message you, I can say I'm thinking about doing this, I need help with this, I'm looking for advice on that. Never once said no, never once turned around and said, oh, you have to pay for this or anything extra. You know what I mean? You never try to take the piss. Obviously, I know I've done things to support you and help you. And I do that for all of my friends, and I always will do. Not all my friends repay that. You know, I've done stuff for people recently, and I've asked for favours back, and they've taken the piss, and they've asked for money, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute, I spent 2 or 3 days slaving my ass off for you for something, and now you're asking, you know, come to you, and I said, oh, could I get some subs? And you're like, oh, Stu, you can have them because of what, you know, you're a very genuine person. So, you know, the best thing about this place is you.
Thanks, mate.
And I mean it. I do mean it. I'm not just saying it because of the TV show.
No, it's nice to hear. Especially, I've had struggles over the last 3-4 months with, especially friends or the people who I thought were friends, staffing, a little bit of everything. Obviously, I could do my own podcast on what we've just asked, really. So yeah, it's nice to hear, mate.
Yeah, you're a good person, mate.
Thank you, mate. And you. I think we'll end it there.
Yeah, because you probably want to go to bed, don't you?
Yeah, he's sleeping behind the camera here. So that is literally episode 1, which is brilliant. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Like I have, I could listen to you all day.
I could talk all day, obviously.
I know.
You know, he's only said about 20 words.
I feel like, is it Parkinson? Yeah, better than Jonathan Ross. But no, yeah, I could listen to your story over and over. I love them type of stories. So yeah, we'll end it there, mate. And thank you very much, mate.
It's a pleasure.
Thanking you.